Hello, Dodgers fans! It's time to get into all the latest news and updates from around Major League Baseball. And today we're focusing heavily on the Toronto Blue Jays. The season is just around the corner, and there's already a lot buzzing in Toronto, opening day. Tickets have gone on sale, and the response has been intense. Fans are lining up online, the queues have been overwhelming, and there's a lot of chatter about the steep prices. It's no secret that tickets are more expensive than ever. Especially for those first few games of the season, the question everyone is asking is whether this trend will continue throughout the season or if fans will see some relief. The answer, of course, depends largely on supply and demand, the performance of the team, and the excitement generated by last season's playoff run. Toronto had an impressive showing last year, making it to the World Series, and they've invested heavily in their roster during free agency. With big names added to the lineup and the team maintaining a competitive edge, it's natural that tickets are going to carry a higher price tag. Fans want to see a winning product, and the organization is capitalizing on that enthusiasm. It's an interesting mix of economics and sports fandom, because while it can be frustrating for those hoping to bring their whole family to a game without breaking the bank, it's also a reflection of how valuable live baseball has become in Toronto. The city has embraced the team. And there's no denying that the excitement of being at the Rogers Center for a Blue Jays game is unmatched. Despite the higher ticket prices, there are still ways for fans to catch games. Television coverage through Sportsnet remains a solid option, allowing fans to follow every pitch and every swing without stepping foot in the stadium. However, nothing quite replicates the energy of being in the stands. Fans who have attended games know the thrill of a full house, the roar of the crowd, and the feeling of witnessing key moments live. That experience is priceless, and it's exactly why ticket prices are seeing these spikes. The demand is real, and the team's recent success only amplifies it, even for casual viewers. The chance to see stars like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. live in action makes attending games more appealing. Even if it comes at a premium, opening day has a special kind of magic. It's more than just the first game of the season, it's a celebration. An opportunity to see the team set the tone for the months ahead. With tickets being a hot commodity, fans need to plan ahead. The higher prices aren't just about making a profit. They reflect the overall investment the team has made in talent and fan engagement. The Blue Jays front office has worked hard to create a roster capable of contending from the start, and the excitement surrounding the games is partly fueled by that roster depth. Every pitch, every defensive play, every home run matters even more because fans know they're watching a team poised to compete at the highest level. One of the key stories this season is how Toronto will start the year against the schedule. That seems relatively favorable at first glance. Opening with teams like the Athletics, Rockies, and White Sox gives the Blue Jays a chance to find their rhythm early. Last season, Toronto struggled in the opening weeks, and this year, the schedule presents a chance to start hot. It's crucial for the team to capitalize on these matchups because momentum in the first month can often dictate confidence for the remainder of the season. Players like Guerrero Jr. and other key contributors will need to hit the ground running, setting the tone not just for individual performance, but for team chemistry as a whole. The early schedule also serves another important purpose. It allows the coaching staff to experiment and adjust the lineup. Manager John Schneider will have the opportunity to see which players respond best in certain situations, how new acquisitions settle in, and how veterans like Anthony Santander and George Springer will perform under pressure. Spring training provides some answers, but there's nothing quite like the real game environment to evaluate performance. Early games against manageable opponents provide a chance to get everything aligned, from batting orders to pitching rotations, and to ensure the team is firing on all cylinders before the tougher stretches of the season arrive. The Blue Jays have also dealt with some roster changes, including the departure of Bo Bichette. Biquette's message to Toronto fans reflected both gratitude and emotion, highlighting the bond between players and the city. Fans have followed his journey from rookie to standout player, and his farewell is a reminder of how deeply players' careers are intertwined with their communities. While it's difficult to see a player of his caliber leave, it also reinforces the significance of those who remain, like Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who has committed to Toronto long-term. The loyalty of these players contributes to the fan experience in a meaningful way, creating a connection that goes beyond the statistics on the scoreboard. Looking ahead, the Blue Jays' schedule becomes more challenging as the season progresses. After the initial matchups, Toronto will face teams like the Dodgers, Minnesota, Brewers, and eventually heavyweights like the Braves, Yankees, and Astros. How the team navigates this tougher stretch will be critical. The foundation built in April can serve as a cushion, helping the team absorb potential slumps and maintain playoff positioning. Baseball is unpredictable and streaks happen for every team, so having early wins against less formidable opponents can be the difference between running at full stride and playing catch-up. The strategic aspect of scheduling, combined with the dynamics of player performance, creates a fascinating chess match over the course of a long season. Transactions and free agency moves continue to shape the league, influencing not only Toronto but every team in the American League East. Names like Framber Valdez have drawn attention, with contract negotiations revealing both the business and strategic sides of the sport. Players' deals, term lengths, and salary averages all have ripple effects across the league, affecting team composition, payroll management, and competitive balance for fans. It's an intricate part of following baseball that goes beyond what happens on the field, showing how carefully teams must plan both in the short and long term. Even as ticket prices rise and schedules get complicated, the excitement of a new season is undeniable. The anticipation of spring, the World Baseball Classic, and the Olympics adds an extra layer of energy for baseball fans, with so much happening across sports, including NFL action and other competitions. The return of regular season baseball feels like the opening act to the most anticipated time of year. For Toronto, the combination of a strong roster, high-profile games, and the lingering buzz from last season creates a perfect storm of interest and excitement, ensuring that fans will be paying attention whether they're at the stadium or watching from home. As we move further into the season, the Toronto Blue Jays face a mix of opportunity and challenge. The early games against teams like the Athletics, Rockies, and White Sox are a chance to build momentum. But the real test begins when they start facing the league's stronger lineups. The Dodgers will be an early measuring stick for this team, testing both the offense and pitching staff. It's not just about individual performances, it's about seeing how the roster functions as a cohesive unit under pressure. Players like Guerrero Jr. and Springer are expected to step up, but the season will also demand contributions from emerging talents who are ready to prove themselves. Spring training numbers and preseason stats are informative, but the real pressure of regular season games is always a different story, and Toronto's coaching staff will be paying close attention to every detail. Pitching remains a focal point for discussion. While the Blue Jays' starting rotation has talent, there are still areas to refine. Matchups against teams like the Rockies and White Sox will provide a gauge of depth and flexibility. The bullpen, always a critical component, will need to perform consistently, especially during tight games. Manager John Schneider has a lot to consider when setting rotations and matchups, ensuring that pitchers are used optimally while also keeping the team fresh for the long haul. The season is a marathon, not a sprint, and balancing immediate needs with long-term strategy is crucial. Games in April set the tone, but success in May and June, particularly against tougher opponents, will be what defines Toronto's playoff potential. The Blue Jays roster construction is also under scrutiny. With Bo Bichette's departure, the team has opportunities to reconfigure roles and adjust its lineup. Players like Anthony Santander, George Springer, and other established stars will need to maintain consistency, but younger players are being watched closely as well. John Schneider's job is not just to manage games but to manage development, ensuring that each player is in a position to maximize their strengths. There's always a risk when integrating new players or shifting roles, but this is part of what makes the start of a season so intriguing. Early performance can dictate confidence levels, and confidence is a currency in baseball that often influences outcomes more than talent alone. Toronto's schedule is a delicate balance between easier matchups early on and the more daunting stretch in June and beyond. Teams like the Braves, Mets, Yankees, Astros, and Phillies await later in the season, and these are the games where the Blue Jays will face the highest level of competition. The goal is to enter that stretch with a stronger core, avoiding the scramble that comes from playing catch-up. Momentum is critical in baseball, and teams that start slow often find themselves making adjustments mid-season just to stay competitive. This year, Toronto has the chance to reverse last year's slow start and enter the summer months positioned near the top of the standings, with flexibility to weather slumps and injuries. The fan experience remains central to the Blue Jays' identity. While ticket prices have increased, the desire to attend games in person hasn't diminished. Fans are committed And the atmosphere at the Rogers Center continues to be electric. From the roar of the crowd to the sights and sounds of live baseball, attending a game is an experience that cannot be replicated on television. That said, it is important to acknowledge the barriers that exist. Rising costs, coupled with the increasing number of streaming options and subscription services, can make accessing games more complicated for some fans. Apple TV, Sportnet, and other platforms provide coverage. But for those who value being in the stadium, navigating the economics of a full season of baseball can be challenging. Despite these challenges, the connection between players and fans remains strong. Bo Bichet's farewell message highlighted the mutual respect and gratitude that define the relationship. His words resonated deeply with the fan base, reflecting the emotional side of baseball that often goes unnoticed behind statistics and analysis. Players who show commitment to their team, like Vladimir Guerrero Jr., become symbols of loyalty and inspiration. Guerrero Jr.'s decision to stay in Toronto long-term has cemented him as one of the most beloved players in franchise history. Fans not only celebrate his talent, but also the dedication he has shown to the organization. Stories like these are part of what make baseball so compelling, moments that transcend the game and create lasting memories for both players and supporters. The roster moves in the offseason also set the stage for the team's strategy moving forward. Free agent acquisitions, trades, and contract negotiations impact not just Toronto, but the league as a whole. Decisions about term lengths, salary averages, and player fit all ripple through the organization, affecting the team's competitive positioning. While some moves are immediately visible on the field, others have subtle effects that play out over weeks or months. Evaluating these transactions requires looking beyond box scores to understand how they influence chemistry, depth, and long-term planning. Baseball is a game of both strategy and skill, and successful teams balance the two while keeping an eye on future seasons as well. The early season is also a time to see who rises to the occasion. Young players looking to make a mark, veterans hoping to maintain their performance, and newly acquired talent all contribute to a dynamic environment. Every at-bat, every inning, every defensive play matters, and Toronto's coaching staff will be analyzing performance constantly. It's a high-pressure situation, but it also allows for the emergence of heroes, surprise standouts, and breakout performances. Fans get to witness this process firsthand, watching players grow, adapt, and make their mark on the season. The unfolding narrative of the team becomes part of the broader story of the league, and every game adds to the excitement. But before we move forward, don't forget to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest news about the Los Angeles Dodgers. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the news, so drop a comment below. Shockwaves rippled through the baseball world after a blunt, emotionally charged quote attributed to Dodgers manager Dave Roberts began circulating through club corridors and media circles. He will never play for the Dodgers again, Roberts reportedly said, a line that, even without a name attached, has ignited a wildfire of speculation around Chavez Ravine. The absence of details has only intensified the intrigue, leaving fans and insiders to connect dots in a story that feels bigger than a routine roster decision around the organization. Whispers suggest the comment was not about form or fitness, but about a fracture deeper than the box score. Clubhouse dynamics, leadership clashes, and an erosion of trust are all being floated as possible catalysts. Some believe the target is a high-profile figure whose presence once symbolized stability, making the finality of the statement all the more jarring. Others argue it could involve a younger talent whose off-field choices tested the patience of a front office that values culture as much as production. What makes the rumor particularly potent is the language itself. Roberts is known publicly for measured tones and diplomacy, so such a definitive declaration, even if relayed secondhand, suggests a line crossed with no appetite for repair. Agents across the league are said to be monitoring the situation closely, sensing an opportunity should a separation become formal. Rival executives, meanwhile, are weighing whether this is posturing or a genuine severing of ties. For now, the Dodgers remain officially silent, and the player at the center of the storm remains unnamed. But in a market that thrives on star power and narrative, the idea that a door has been slammed shut forever carries weight until clarity emerges. The rumor will continue to grow, feeding debates about accountability, authority, and how quickly allegiances can unravel in a sport built on long seasons and even longer memories. That's all for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay up to date with exclusive news about the Los Angeles Dodgers, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We always appreciate your comments and feedback. See you in the next video.